how to use the meta model as an internal guide to become an irresistibly attractive conversationalist. Dale Carnegie said that to be an interesting conversationalist, you only need to be an interested conversationalist, which means you don't need to talk about yourself very much. You don't need to tell fantastic stories about your adventures. You don't need to spin everything into some kind of funny comment. You don't need to be an entertainer. You just need to be interested in other people as they talk about their favorite subject, which is easy because everybody's favorite subject is themselves. The problem is if you just walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, tell me about yourself," they will kind of feel on the spot because most people, nearly all people, are not nearly as outgoing as they wish they were. They're not nearly as articulate as they wish they were. So this technique uses the meta model to help them expand what they like to talk about, to expand the best things about themselves that they like to talk about. Now, the meta model is a series of questions: who, what, where, when, why, how, plus the word specifically. For example, let's say you asked your friend, "What'd you do last night?" And they say, "Oh, I went to the movies." And you can sort of tell from their facial expression when they say, "I went to the movies," that they would like to talk more, but they're not sure how. Most people you'll find are like this. We love talking to other people. We are social animals, but not a lot of people have the confidence and the skills to just talk and talk and talk about themselves. But if you use the meta model question, for example, "What kind of movie specifically did you see?" they will kind of feel like they're being interrogated. And if you ask meta model questions directly, they will feel on the spot, and that will kind of kill the conversational mojo. So instead, use meta model questions as an internal guide to help bring out their mental map of what they're talking about, to help them get more specific about what they're talking about, and to make it very, very easy on them to do so. The goal is to make it as easy as possible on them to bring out their mental map of their experience and have a good time doing so, to create good feelings in them. So let's say you want to ask the question, "What kind of movie did you see specifically?" But you don't want to ask that, so you hold that as an internal guide, an internal direction for the conversation. So the trick is to ask a very simple either-or question about their movie-going experience or their movie-watching experience to help that idea get more specific, to help them be more specific about what they're talking about, to share more of their experience, to help them talk about themselves, to talk about their own experience. And so a good either-or question is, was this movie released recently or has it been out a while? One of these two has to be the right answer. And so that's the goal, to ask these either-or questions where one of the two has to be the right answer. And that way they can slowly and easily and very, very, without any mental effort on their own, bring out their own mental image of what they're talking about to get it more specific. Some other either-or questions you can ask for the movie-going experience could be, was this a big-budget movie or more of a small-budget movie? Did you notice a lot of actors, or were they mostly unknown people to you? These are all going in the direction of what kind of movie specifically did you see. Now suppose you talk about the movie they saw and you can tell they're enjoying the conversation. You can tell they like answering these questions and you want to shift into a more broad category. You can ask something like, "Do you always watch movies on your time off? Or do you sometimes do other things?" Notice that this is a kind of a leading question. You sort of know where their answer is going to be. Most people won't say, "Oh, I only ever watch movies. I never do anything else." So you can use either-or questions to lead the conversation while them believing that the conversation is completely and totally about them. And they will feel good about that. And you'll also find that just a few of these either-or questions will make them feel more confident, will make them feel more outgoing and extroverted, which means they will just start talking and talking and talking. And with practice, you can lead the conversation all over the place by asking these simple either-or questions that go in the direction of meta model questions that you keep in mind that will make them feel very fantastic. And the better they feel about the conversation, the more they'll start to subconsciously associate those good feelings with you. You can even use this either-or technique as a conversational opener. starting off with meta model questions in mind and come up with an either or question that will lead to the closer answer to those questions. For example, let's say there's a new checker at your supermarket, or at least new to you, somebody you've never seen before, and you'd like to talk to them, and you think a good meta model question could be, how long specifically have you worked here? Now that would maybe feel like an interrogative type question, which might kill the conversational energy or kill any conversational energy. So instead, use that as a direction and say, hey, I've never seen you before. Did you just start working here, or have you been working here a long time? And they will choose one of these two answers, because one of these two answers is the correct answer. And you can tell by how they answer that whether or not they're willing to continue the conversation by the look on their face. If they look up and say, oh, I've just started, and they're waiting for something to keep the conversation going, that's a good signal to ask another either or question. Now, this is going to be a little difficult at first. You'll find that you kind of run out of these either or questions, so you can easily practice this technique. Every time you have a conversation with somebody, or even if you think you want to have a conversation with somebody, but you actually don't, you can sit down and think of some either or questions that you could have asked. The rules are very simple. It's an either or question that goes in the direction of a meta model question that you can think of in your mind, and the either or question has to be set up so one of them has to be the correct answer. This is a great way to have conversations, and ideally, once you have a few of these either or questions that come out of their mind and you expand their experience, you want to slowly transition their conversation into a few general goldmine categories, like favorite past experiences, best successes, the best decisions they've ever made, their ideal future in any kind of area, their ideal job, their ideal relationship, their ideal anything. If you can transition the conversation into these ideal gold nugget questions, you will make them feel fantastic, and they will associate those fantastic feelings with you. You can practice this on your friends. You can practice this on strangers. This is a fantastic technique to use with first dates or first conversations. And the good news is that the more you practice this skill, the better you get. This is a skill that has no upper limit. You'll never stop getting better with this technique, which means you can always get better, being able to make other people feel fantastic because of your conversational skills. And the more you make other people feel fantastic because of your conversational skills, the more they will associate those good feelings with you. This is a fantastic way to slowly build a social circle over time. Just go through your life, talk to whoever you feel comfortable talking to, throw in a couple of these either or questions based on internally held meta model questions, and you will make people feel fantastic, and they will want to see you again. So try it out on your friends. Let me know what you think in the comments. To learn more about how to use this technique or use other conversational techniques to significantly increase your charisma and confidence, check out the links below. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.